Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Latchkey kids and driving mutants. No, long time no see. That's what I was about to say. No time no see. Long time no see. It's been a minute since I've done a live stream, but I saw that this Friday, the Deliverance was coming out, and that it was based on the real life haunting of the Ammons house in Gary, Indiana. So I figured, why not take a look at some of the documentary footage of what's happened in that. I'm going to call it the Midwest Amityville. Before we get started, let me say what's up to the people in the chat that have commented. Mr. Dan and Horrors here. He says, hey, Tony Man and Lady Shasha. I hope you're doing all right. Tony Man says, possibly one of the 200 demons. That was in response to me having technical difficulties, because this stream was meant to start at 8 p.m. But because my computer was acting funky and I had to restart it, here we are. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with what really drew me to this was this video that I stumbled upon on YouTube, where it was like a recording. This is only like 1 minute long, but it's like a recording. Oh, let me take this off the screen here, because we have already started. There we go. I think it's a police recording of the voices in the house. So we're going to jump right on into the hauntedness of this thing here. Let me know if there's any issues with sound. Okay, it says Gary.
Well, let's see if we got anything.
Let me pause that. Gary police captain was in no doubt. Every one of us who was there that day in the basement and who saw what we saw, went through what we went through after, we all think the same. We all call it the same. That bit of dirt is a portal to hell. Wow.
Yeah, who's running it down? Yeah, I don't.
I'm going to ask.
Yeah. Huh. But they said, they would hear stuff in the basement.
Wait a minute, hold it. Somebody was burning candles back here.
You know what? I'm gonna have to read this, because the way they set this up, they have you. There's one thing on the screen to read, but then the audio doesn't match what's being displayed on the screen. So I'm gonna read it and then play the audio, and then read it and then play the audio. Captain Austin even claims he has been attacked outside the house by spirits, including one occasion when his car moved by itself.
Huh. But they said, they would hear stuff in the basement.
Latoya Ammons, pictured, underwent exorcisms after she was possessed by demons. Well, she's a pretty lady. Look at her.
Wait a minute, hold it. Somebody was burning candles back here too. Look.
Oh, wow.
Father Maganot says he set out to disprove the claims, but instead became utterly convinced of them. The family and officials reported an oil-type substance running down furniture and the blinds. Marks can be seen above. Even when they sealed the room and returned to it, it would continue to run.
Yeah, somebody was running. Candles back there too. Wait a minute, hold it. They were burning candles here also.
Oh, they're burnt. And stuff all over the place here.
That's where.
I'm surprised the fire department hasn't been here.
Okay, can you hear me now? Testing, 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 testing. Let me check my audio here. So I've been unable to be heard this whole time. That is not right. Testing, 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 testing. Okay, how do I sound now? Okay, I don't hear. Oh, push on. We got it. Thank you. Hey, Fominky Latte. Missed ya. Oh my gosh, it has been a while. Okay, I'm gonna go on. I think everybody here reads pretty fairly quickly, so I'm gonna continue on. I'm having the most issues today. Okay. Let's continue on. Let's see. Hit play on this. I think this one's almost finished.
I'm surprised the fire department hasn't been here.
All I basically said was the last slide with them digging the hole under the stairs to look for dead bodies was creepy as hell. Like that creeped me out. Check out this one. See if this one's better. So we can get some info on
This house lies in the infamous town of Gary, Indiana. It was home to Latoya Ammons. This mother and her 3 children were violently attacked and possessed by over 200 demons. They all eventually had to have exorcisms performed on them. These claims are backed up by medical staff, child protective service agents, a reverend, and several highly ranked police officers that were called to the case. After hearing the story, we traveled to the house in hopes of communicating with the terrifying entities that ravaged the home. We were unable to contact the current tenant, and it didn't seem like anyone was home. While remaining respectful, we performed an EVP and a spirit box session in front of the home.
Was Latoya possessed and her children from living in this house?
At this exact moment, we captured this terrifying EVP. It was analyzed by 2 EVP specialists, one of them being our analyst, Marsha Mack.
EVPs.
Go ahead.
That does not sound like anything to me.
John? My name's John. Was there any demonic entities that remain in this house? Did you possess Latoya?
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I am not gonna be able to listen to that in my headphones. It's very loud, it's annoying, and this is not quite a documentary. This is more of like some people going there and trying to see if they can get a little bit of a anything. But you know what? I'm gonna let it finish because it's halfway over. It's probably only a minute and a half left. So I'm gonna let it rock. But I was disappointed in this one.
Was there once a portal in the basement of this house?
Did spirits possess a family in this house? You can use this device to speak to us.
I did hear that whore loud and clear. Like the other ones are iffy, but I heard whore clearly.
Are there ghosts in this house?
Oh, it said fuck you. Y'all heard that, right? I could swear it said fuck you. They didn't put it on the screen, but it sounded like that demon said fuck you, which, you know, demons are, it makes sense.
You can use this device to speak to us. Are there ghosts in this house?
Yep, it did. It did say it.
Are you focused?
Is there anything evil in this house?
After being at such a negative location, we decided to stop by the abandoned Gary Methodist Church and say a prayer of protection before heading home. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the malice and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander the world for the ruin of souls. God protect us.
I hope that helps your ass. Couldn't be. Couldn't be me. I'm not going nowhere near that. That's just ridiculous. Now let's see. Maybe this one would be an actual
Full of
documentary.
supposedly haunted houses, such as the Winchester Mystery House, the Amityville Horror House, and that one in Disneyland where those grim ghosts won't stop grinning. While many of these haunted houses are famous, few boast the evidence of paranormal activity like an unassuming home nestled snugly in northern Indiana. It's the story of a family who moved into a strange home and dealt with months of frightening and mysterious occurrences.
They love some animal print. Let me tell you. Look at this. You got some leopard print there, and you have some zebra print. Let's continue.
Including strange sounds, disembodied footprints, and demonic possessions. Many experts had visited the home and were left scratching their heads as to how to explain the unexplainable. Inexplicable? Anyway, today we're investigating the Demon House of Indiana. But before we make ourselves at home, why don't you make a run for that subscribe button? Then head into the comments and let us know what other historically haunted places you want to hear about. For now, the devil went down to Indiana. The Ammons family, consisting of Latoya Ammons, her mom Rosa Campbell, and her 3 young children, moved into a rental.
That was the other thing that I said when my mic wasn't working properly. I said that Latoya was a pretty lady.
Home on a dark and stormy night in the long ago year of 2011. The home on Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana was quiet and unassuming. The family settled there in November, but began to notice strange phenomena after about a month of getting comfy. Despite Indiana winters dropping anywhere from freezing to far, far below freezing, black flies began swarming the home's screened-in front porch. No matter how many of the flies the family vanquished, more would show up shortly thereafter. The thing about flies is they live for the summer, and not like surfers. Most species of flies spend their winters underground in some form of pupal stage. They've got no business building snowmen or swarming unsuspecting ice skaters because they can't survive in the cold unless Burlington Coat Factory starts selling billions of tiny jackets. But unseasonable flies on the screen door were the least of the Ammons family worries. Latoya and Rosa began hearing noises throughout the
Okay, you got to stop using this stock photography footage because that's not even the same house. Like, why are we doing this? Don't use stock. I mean, if you're going to use stock photography or stock footage, use footage that's believable that it would be in that house because this looks nothing. This interior is a whole different style of house. Full Minky Latte says those spirit boxes are always turned up to 11. Yes.
House at all hours of the night, and a locked door between the kitchen and the basement would creak itself open while everyone was asleep. It all came to a head one evening when Campbell told investigators she woke up to see the shadow of a man pacing around her living room. Thinking it had to be a dream, she went to where he was. There was no man to be seen, but there were wet boot prints on the floor. If there ever were supernatural entities manipulating life for the Ammon family, they really kicked things up a notch on the morning of March 10th, 2012. Ammon's 12-year-old daughter was having a sleepover with a friend. When 2 a.m. rolled around, Ammons went to check on them. Campbell was called to the room where both women witnessed the unconscious 12-year-old sleeping above the covers. 5 feet above the covers. With no explanation and therefore no way to get her down, the women began praying until the 12-year-old woke up. She had no recollection of the events and was probably pretty confused as to what the commotion was about. The Ammons family reached out to law enforcement for help, but the claims were so outrageous, the authorities treated them with extreme skepticism. Oh, you too? Weird. In fact, the Indiana Department of Child Services, seeing the children's emotional distress and fearing some form of abuse was at hand, temporarily removed LaToya Ammon's children from the house. They suspected that the young children were introduced to a psychological delusion from the mother that was being reinforced by other relatives. But when case manager Valerie Washington did her due diligence and investigated the family, she found Ammons and the children healthy and of sound mind. Evidence showed that LaToya was neither hurting her children nor losing her grasp on reality. They were just the victims of unexplainable circumstances. Gary and Hammond police departments eventually returned to the home with Rosa Campbell and a representative from the Department of Child Services in the hopes of gaining their trust firsthand. And the demons were all too happy to help out. According to the police captain, once the officers entered the
Y'all want me to skip to another one? This guy's kind of boring to me. Maybe it's my ADHD, but I feel like he's boring and he's taking a long time to tell a lot of nothing. So I'm going to jump to the next one. If the next one isn't so good, then I'll go back to that one. But this one is boring the life out of me. And I'm like, I would fall asleep. If I was in bed, I'd fall asleep watching this. So I'm going to jump to the next one.
In November 2011, LaToya Ammons, along with her mother and 3 kids.
Already the voice has more energy. And it's not going to put me to sleep. So I think this might be the one.
Kids moved into their new house at 3860 Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana. What happened to them is almost unbelievable.
Bonus, he has the pictures from the house, different angles of the house. Or if this is stock photography, it's believable that this is inside the house. So I'm already enjoying this one better than the last one. No shade to the last person. I'm sure you put a lot of effort into it. It just isn't for me. Other people are going to love what you did. So don't take what I say, personally, but it's just that style is not for me. This style is a little bit more engaging to me.
Most people didn't believe them until they witnessed it with their own eyes. What this family experienced was horror that was so bad, a documentary and movie was made about it. This is the true story behind the movie, The Deliverance.
See, he's got all the footage. Why the other person didn't have none of this footage? They put together a whole stock photography, thing, and none of the footage. And this person was able to get the footage. So clearly the footage is out there.
In November 2011, LaToya Ammons and her mother and her 3 children, then ages 7.
Hold on, let me go back and look at that newspaper headline. Daily News, that's the New York Daily News, I believe. Haunting in Indiana leads to family's exorcism. Child levitation reports. And it says, can I see that with my reading glasses? Maybe. Let's see. Let's see if I can make out what that little, what the little tiny part says. Okay, it says chilling reports taken from the residents of a Gary, Indiana home recount a haunting that involved a 12-year-old girl levitating over her bed and a 9-year-old boy walking on the hospital ceiling. Astonishingly, the family's recollections are backed by not only a local police official, but also by medical personnel. Wow.
LaToya Ammons and her mother and her
Okay, and this says The Devil and Latoya Ammons, and this is from January 27th, 2014. Hope you're sitting down for this story from Indiana. It starts like this. A woman and 3 children who claim to be possessed by demons. A 9-year-old, that's not a sentence, that first thing right there, it's not a sentence, but we'll let it go. A 9-year-old boy walking backward up a wall in the presence of a family case manager and hospital nurse. That's also not a complete sentence, but we will continue. Gary Police Captain Charles Austin said it was the strangest story he had ever heard. Now that's a full and complete sentence. All right, let's continue.
3 children, then ages 7, 9, and 12, moved into a house located at 3860 Carolina Street. Days after the family moved in, they claimed black flies swarmed the porch in December and kept returning even though the family believed they were killed. After moving in, Rosa Campbell, who's the grandmother, initially heard footsteps in the basement and doors creaking. Usually after midnight, Campbell and Ammons both said they occasionally heard the steady clump of footsteps climbing the basement stairs and the creak of the door opening between the basement and the kitchen, but no one was there. Even after they would lock the door, the noise continued. Later, she alleged to have witnessed a shadowy figure of a man pacing in the living room and found a boot print. Campbell claimed that she was choked by an unknown force. Ammons' 12-year-old daughter claimed to have levitated above her bed during a sleepover with a friend. It was about 2 a.m. Normally, Campbell, Ammons, and her children would have been asleep, but they were mourning the death of a loved one with a group of friends. Ammons, who was in Campbell's bedroom at the time, startled everyone by screaming. Campbell said she ran into her bedroom where her then 12-year-old granddaughter and a friend were staying. Both the mother and the grandmother said the 12-year-old was levitating above the bed, but she was unconscious. According to their account of events, Ammons and several others surrounded the girl praying. The grandmother said she remembers being terrified. Eventually, Campbell said her granddaughter fell onto the bed after they engaged in prayer. The daughter had no memory of the incident. The older son was allegedly thrown across the room by an unknown force. The younger son allegedly had his eyes rolled into the back of his head and was growling, saying, "It's time to die and I'll kill you." The family reached out to their doctor, Jeffrey Anuku, on April 19, 2000.
Just so you know, before I even started these, I did light some incense sage back there, and I have a candle burning back there. There's some rosary beads also, but you know, you can never be too careful.
12. When he visited the house during a supposed hunting, he noted that their behavior was delusional. Someone from his office contacted the police. After the police arrived, the children were taken to the hospital. The older boy was described as acting rationally while the younger boy screamed and thrashed. The mother and grandmother said that they didn't know exactly what it was, but they believed it was something supernatural. They called local churches, but most refused to listen. Eventually, after listening to Campbell and Ammons talk about the house and visiting it, officials at one church told them that the Carolina Street house had spirits in it. They recommended that the family clean the home with bleach and ammonia, then use oil to draw crosses on every door and window. At the church's suggestion, Ammons said that she poured olive oil on her 3 children's hands and feet, then smeared oil in the shape of crosses on their foreheads. Campbell and Ammons also reached out to 2 clairvoyants who said that the family's home was haunted by more than 200 demons.
They should have reached out to some roots workers, because the roots workers would have told you to go get you some sulfur. But you didn't hear that from me.
Their explanation made sense to Campbell and Ammons. They say because it meshed with their Christian faith. They were told to move out of the house, but that wasn't even an option. Being that they couldn't move away from the house, they made an altar in the basement. Ammons said she and another person donned white t-shirts and white scarves around their heads. Also, on the clairvoyant's advice, they burned sage and sulfur throughout the house.
There we go.
Starting
There's the
upstairs
sulfur.
and working their way down. The smoke was so thick that they could hardly breathe. Ammons drew a cross with the smoke.
Now, the sage, that'll take care of just a few like regular spirits, but I don't think sage does much for demons. The sulfur is what you need for the demons. All right, Tony Man is saying this dude is talking the actual facts. That other dude had no idea. And then bleach and ammonia is toxic together. That's funny because my grandmother used to make me clean the floor with bleach. It was, I think there was water in it too. It wasn't just bleach and ammonia, because I'm sure the fumes would have been worse than what they were, because it used to burn my eyes. But the bathroom floor had to be cleaned with bleach and ammonia when I was a child.
The person she was with read Psalms 91 aloud as they moved around the house. The grandmother mentioned that the 7-year-old once flew out of a bathroom like he'd been thrown out of the room. The 12-year-old daughter mentions that she has been held down and choked, but nothing was there. Some nights were so bad that the family had to sleep at a hotel. Finally, in desperation, they went to their physician. Ammons said that she told him what was going on, and hoping that he might understand. Campbell said the grandson cursed at the doctor in a demonic voice, raging at him. Medical staff said the youngest boy was lifted and thrown into the wall without anyone touching him.
Oof.
The boys abruptly passed out and wouldn't wake up.
Shoot, I would.
The grandma cradled one boy in her arms, while their mother held the other. Someone from the doctor's office called 911.
I need to find the footage of her speaking. I need to find the footage because I want to know, because I'm looking at her gestures and I want to see the footage of her speaking.
It said 7 or 8 police officers and multiple ambulances showed up, but no one knew what was going on. The Department of Child Services, DCS, was alerted. DCS believed that the children were performing for their mother. Stories were published in outlets such as New York Daily News reported that DCS personnel had allegedly witnessed the youngest boy walking up the wall backwards. Later, police asked whether the boy had run up the wall, as though performing an acrobatic trick. Everyone that witnessed it said that the boy glided backward on the floor, wall, and ceiling.
Oh, that's
according
a good
to their police
reenactment.
report.
Look at that.
He then smacked his grandmother.
Oh, they better do that. in the movie.
37-year police captain Charles Austin believes paranormal activity occurred in the house. There was a photo published by the Indianapolis Star, claimed to show a shadowy figure when no one was at home.
Mm-hmm.
The family hired Father Michael Maginot to perform the exorcism. He interviewed the family on April 22, 2012, and concluded that they were being tormented by demons.
Okay, I don't know if y'all saw that, but my light just changed on its own. And that's creeping me out because it just went from one setting to another setting without me touching it. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. All right.
He told the mother to look up the names of the demons that they came up with, so he could use the names in the exorcisms because names have meanings. He eventually performed 3 exorcisms, 2 in English and 1 in Latin. And 1 exorcism was performed on Latoya Ammons herself. Eventually, the Ammons family moved to Indianapolis in mid-2012, and after that, the event stopped. A few years later, the house was purchased in order to make a documentary. But in the middle of production, a series of unfortunate events happened to the creator of the documentary and his crew.
That's probably Zach.
After the
Baggins
completion of the documentary, he had the house demolished. Since then, he hasn't had anything happen to him in relation to the house, nor did the Ammons family. This is the true story behind the movie, The Deliverance.
And now my light just went off. Y'all saw that my light just went off. Should I continue this? This is, I'm just trying to watch a documentary and y'all spirits want to fuck with me? Why? No, I'm gonna be like Tony Man says. So stop playing the video. How about I don't? It's probably just a technical issue with the light. It's an old light. I'm not gonna scare that easily. Like, yeah, it might just be a coincidence. One time is coincidence. No, one time it's happenstance. That's happenstance. 2 times is a coincidence. 3 times is a pattern. But you're gonna have to do more than that to scare me. Miss Dan says sometimes the films aren't as good as the reenactments. Haunting Connecticut, cough, cough. Yeah, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch the reenactments in Haunting in Connecticut. I haven't seen the documentary on that, but there's some that the documentary is way creepier than the Hollywood dramatization. Yeah, that's the thing, Tony, man. This light doesn't have batteries. It's plugged in. It's actually plugged in. The light, the little indicator light is on that shows me that it's plugged in, but it has shut itself off. So, you know what? You're not going to get me to stop spreading the word about what's going on here. So I suggest you go and haunt somebody else. I got some sulfur, and I got some sage right there. I don't think the sage will do much, but I do have some sulfur for your ass. So keep playing. All right, let's continue.
There was like horseflies on the inside porch, and this was, you know, the beginning of winter, so that was very odd to me. We would lock the basement door, and you would hear something hit the door, boom, and you would hear dogs barking. No dogs outside, no dogs. We would go look, no dogs.
One time she woke up in the middle of the night, maybe like 3 in the morning, and they saw this shadowy figure pacing back and forth in the living room.
And I saw one like coming into full image. It was coming out of my closet. I've never seen it like that before. I would see the shadows, you know, but I've never seen it like how I'm looking at you and you're looking at me.
You can see it stretching his stomach. And my grandson was crying, oh, Mom, Grandma, help. And then we go to his leg, and his leg was bulging. I'm like, oh my God, Tweety, look. It was bulging out of his arm. And then we pray over him, and we know him.
Latoya took me inside the house and showed me different stuff. I didn't see anything that was relevant to what she said, even though other people did. So I was very skeptical. I just figured she owed me money, and this is a fabricated story. And that's not strange to my walk of life. That does happen. You know? Like I said, I thought I heard it all. This is new one to me.
I will let you know.
And I told my daughter, I said, they're going to make it look like we're hurting these children. So we're going to have to get some help some kind of place, some kind of way. We got to convince somebody that this is actually going on.
This boy was in one of the emergency room areas. He was kind of growling, you know, and his grandmother was holding his hands and trying to coax him back, and all of a sudden he started, you know, she was kind of backing him up and toward the wall, and then he started to walk up the wall backwards, did a flip over her head, and there was the psychologist and the social service worker in that room that saw that, and they ran out and got the security, and the security called the chaplain, and, you know, he called me, and they got the police involved and all that.
Until he saw what the other one did when he went up that wall. Then he like, oh my God, this is impossible. Nobody can do this. Nobody.
There's 5 people that saw this happen, and they're, you know, different walks of life. That does change things a little bit. I find it hard to believe that all 5 of those people will say this just to be saying it.
It was pretty much without incident until we get to the part of your name, and you ask for its name. Now, so far she's always been silent. So, and I said, is your name whatever? And then all of a sudden she started convulsing and such. So now once you have a name, you kind of attack it. You try everything, you know, you kind of go through the whole rite to see which things push the buttons of, you know, the entity. And once you found what does it, you keep on using it over and over. Whenever you would praise God in Latin, no reaction. But you start condemning the demon, condemning, the evil spirit, all of a sudden she's reacting to that. And then we'll go back, and the moment you go back to praising God, she would stop reacting.
Yeah, you could.
So I went through the whole rite, and then finally went the second time, and then it was just focusing on the condemnations part. And that was kind of riling up. I think I even went a third time. But you could tell it was kind of weakening, and then eventually she fell asleep again.
Demons can actually possess you, use you, so you can give them souls, and then make you take your own life. So, I mean, it's real. And a lot of people don't think about it. They live their lives day to day, and you never
Light
think
in the
that it would
bathrooms
be...
began to flicker and buzz, and so, and they were pointing out that's one of the things that happens, electronical, interference.
Like
And
what
so
just happened.
So I went over there,
My
and looked
electronics
at, went
tonight.
to look at it, and then stopped. So I came back, and then, okay.
I couldn't even start this stream without restarting my computer just to talk about this. Like these mofos really don't want you to talk about them. Because I had to restart my computer. Then my microphone, what I was registering is not plugged in when it was plugged in. Then my light went off.
Tell me about the boyfriend. Then it started again. And then I went back again, and it stopped. Then this time I came back and says, I guess it's afraid of me. And then it started again. But this time it wouldn't stop, So I even went.
Why is his nails? His nails are about as long as my nails.
It was defiant. It was
His nails.
still buzzing and everything. And so I just kind of let it go. But I wanted to get, what's with the boyfriend. Then they started to point to in the kitchen.
I'm gonna call him Father Longnails.
They had Venetian blinds all through all the windows, and so the little rod windows, and so the little rod that you turn to open and close it was swinging back and forth. And they said that's how they would.
That's the house that Zach Baggins and I think it's Ghost Adventures is the name of his show. That's the house that he bought, and he said, was it the house that made him have to get glasses, or was that the Dybbuk box? I know one or two things made Zach Baggins' eyes cross for a while, and it was either this house or the Dybbuk box that he bought. But he plays too much, and he found out.
Swing back and forth in unison, the whole house would kind of each of those. And so I went to look at that, and then I saw the furnace kick on, and they had tags at the bottom of the three little strings that opened the Venetian blinds, and they were fluttering. And the stick was going back and forth, and then the furnace kicked off, so that stopped. But the thing was still going back and forth. Then I saw it doing the same thing in unison with the next window, the next window, the next window. So I went to all the windows, and they were all going back and forth until I got to Latoya's room, and then it looked like something was dripping down her blinds. And I don't remember seeing that. And I go, oh, what's this? And she goes, well, she said she put oil on her blinds in the sign of the cross. But this seemed to be just one vertical line and was dripping. And then I was feeling it, and it was oil, And so, and I said, I don't remember seeing that, before. And so, and then I was still trying to get back to seeing, about the boyfriend. And then she points down, and there's footprints, wet footprints.
Oh, this is helping you adjust your mic there, Father. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I went to look at them, and they were just around her, and they're wet. And, I could kind of smear them. But they didn't seem to go anywhere, because I was in the bathroom, I was in the kitchen. I also came outside, and I don't know if it was raining or whatever, but there was none of my footprints were going there. They were just there, and and I don't remember seeing those before either. So I'm writing all this down, but I'm trying to get to the boyfriend, and it's trying not to get that direction. And then all of a sudden she starts shivering.
But I'm confused about where the boyfriend comes into this.
And then she goes into her bedroom to get a blanket to put around her. Then all of a sudden she throws the blanket off, and says she's burning up, you know. And I'm still trying to, you know, can you tell me about the boyfriend? And you know, and then she's sick. She has a headache, and you know, I said, okay, it's okay, and it's about 10:30 at night.
Did she vomit on you though?
That's about after 4 hours.
That's what I want to know.
It's not gonna let me do this. So, and I didn't want to go beyond midnight or anything there. Sure. So I kind of saw, okay, I saw enough. And so we kind of closed up, but we're going to continue the rest of the interview by phone. I wanted to hear about.
Nightmare Files.
Is that the end? Well, that ended abruptly. I think that was the best one. Nightmare Files, you did a great job. You put your thing back up there. I think you did the best job out of the short little things that we saw on YouTube. From what I heard, they went to the church first to ask for an exorcist, and the church said they didn't want to step in the house. They suggested the olive oil and bleach and ammonia. I think they might have said something like that in the other video, the one that I thought was boring, but it might have said in this one too. And also told her to build an altar in the basement. Now, that would have been hard to do because that basement was creepy as hell. And that's the place under the stairs where they thought that there was a portal to hell. So there's that. And then, let me see. I got two more here. I'm just going to play a minute or two out of both of them because I think it might be redundant. But I just want to see how other people have put together this story.
Case is one of the most terrifying documented cases of demonic possession of.
Can we read that? That is so tiny. I mean, someone who's watching this on television could probably read it, but I can't read that. That's even with my reading glasses, I think that's
the 21st
small.
century. This case is backed not only by legitimate DCS documents, but also by official police records, all of which claim that something truly evil was occurring at this house in Indiana. The story was publicized in January of 2014 when the house became infamously.
Now let me see if in this, I'm going to fast forward to see if there's actually any additional footage of like interviews or anything of the family. He has the pictures here, but I don't see interviews with the family. So, well, right there's a little bit.
Power these spirits held over her. Latoya compared the feeling to intense childbirth, as if something was striving to remain inside her and cause as much pain as possible. However, over the course of the month, the spirits slowly began to leave Latoya and her family alone. By the third exorcism, their problems finally subsided. It was the last time she ever saw Michael Maginot, but she was eternally grateful. There were finally no more disturbances, and in November of 2012, Latoya eventually regained custody of her children. They moved to Indianapolis and haven't experienced any paranormal activity since. The house at 3860 Carolina Street hasn't shown any signs of activity either. However, in 2014, when the Ammons story was made public, it became a global spectacle. People were deeply interested in the events that transpired. Latoya and her mother were featured on multiple news stories recounting their experiences, and paranormal investigator Zach Baggins eventually purchased the house that same year. It was used to film a documentary based on the haunting events called Demon House. Unfortunately, the entire building was demolished just 2 years later. Latoya and her family went through a harrowing experience over the course of an entire year, dealing with what appears to be a true demonic possession. However, they are undoubtedly relieved that the nightmare is finally over. But that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. As you already may have noticed, this is a new channel that will be uploading weekly videos covering a range of disturbing topics, from urban legends to...
All right, shout out to Ordinary Horror Guy. By the way, I made a playlist of all the videos that I'm watching right now. As soon as this stream ends, I'm going to publish the playlist. So if anybody wants to go back and watch these in their entirety, you'll be able to do that. And also go to the other channels and like their content, because they did put a lot of effort into these.
Think of demonic possession. Oftentimes it involves images of Hollywood films. But according to psychiatrist Richard Gallagher, very few cases are actually the real deal. And of those rare few, some of them are so over the top
Yes,
with
very
what
excited.
takes
I'm about to play the
place,
trailer for the
who
movie
sees
next.
the
Because
supernatural
I wanted to look
manifestations,
at the
and truly
story. I wanted to look at the story first, so I know what the trailer is referencing before I watch the trailer. Let me see. They have okay. This is all stock photography stuff too, without any. Yeah, I'm glad I'm fast forward through this because it's probably the same information that we just received. So I'm gonna go ahead, like Mr. Dan says, sounds like the film has potential, and jump on into the trailer for the film. So now that we have a basis for what happened in the house, who it happened to, what type of things happened, now we can look at the trailer and see what type of movie we're gonna get into.
Remember, before we get started, whatever it says to you, do not listen to it. It will play on your heart, it will play on your mind. My name is Apostle Bernice James. The other person present is Ebony Jackson, the mother. Father, we ask that you cleanse and sanctify us for this deliverance. Ebony, get back.
Yo, with headphones on, the sound of that was creepy. Ugh.
If you believe, you shall be saved. You shall be saved. You shall be saved. You shall be saved.
I'm confused. Who is Glenn Close supposed to be? Who is Glenn Close supposed to be? Yeah, I'm gonna put this up here and do that while I'm talking. But like, I get Audra Day is obviously supposed to be the main lady with the children that got possessed, and you see two of her. Well, no, three, because they showed the teenage boy in the bathroom also. But who the heck is Glenn? Is Glenn Close supposed to be her mother? Why is Glenn Close her mother? We just saw her and her mother on the couch together, and I'm very confused, Lee Daniels, and what you're doing. I mean, I know they have to take some liberties to make it more dramatic, but I don't understand that one at all. And they took the priest completely out of the movie, and it's this apostle lady, which I guess that's fine. I mean, that's okay, but why is Glenn Close in this? I still don't know why Glenn Close is in this. I'm really confused. I don't know. I'm gonna play that again because there was a picture. I think I had a picture of the mother and the daughter together. That's one of the posters for the Deliverance. Another poster for it, which is good. Now in the movie, that's supposed to be the mother and the daughter. I don't know why we're doing this or why Glenn Close has a name necklace on, and I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is it because he cast Audra Day and she happens to be biracial in real life, so to cast her mother, they had to cast a white actor? But why are we doing this? I don't understand the purpose of that. And we have the 9-year-old son, the 12-year-old daughter. That's true. I don't know what. Oh, know what? That's Monique. Monique must be the social worker by process of elimination, since she's not the apostle. She's got to be the social worker. And there's a police officer there. Yeah, she's got it. She must be playing. And then this is probably a creep scene with a 9-year-old outside. And that's when Andrew Day is being possessed. This is I feel like the movie might be insulting. I really feel like this movie might be insulting. And I don't like that at all. I don't want to see that because that's just not cool. But I'm gonna roast it. If this movie sucks, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna roast the shit out of it because it deserves it if it ends up sucking and being disrespectful to the actual family, especially when the family is still alive and with us. But I'm sure if I went and looked up the actual family from the Amityville house, there's probably like some messed up stuff going there. Tony Man says Glenn Close is just a woman playing another woman. Yeah, I think Glenn Close is playing the mother of I'm forgetting the young lady's name that was possessed. And I'm like, why? It doesn't make sense. She looks nothing like her. No, she's definitely not a DCF chick because the DCF person wouldn't be standing on a porch smoking. So she has to be playing the mother. And I think Monique is a DCF worker. Her name is Alberta in the film, but they probably changed the names anyway. Yeah, they probably changed all the characters' names. That was just weird. I waited so long to watch that trailer for that. Like, that's just a very anticlimactic. 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 I'm blanking on that word. That's so weird. Either Glenn Close doing someone a favor or she had some unexpected tax debt come on. Yeah, because I don't know why she has on this scarf, like in the shirt with the cutouts, like she's supposed to look like she's from the inner city. And I'm like, this is, you didn't even have them wear the leopard print. If you were going to do that, at least have her dress like the mama, because the mama and the daughter clearly like animal print. You guys didn't put animal print on them. Tropic Thunder reference. Glenn Close is just a woman playing another woman. Yes, I see what you did there with the Tropic Thunder stuff. But yeah, I have no idea why Glenn Close is in this movie. That's just weird. I don't even know where to go from there. I think I've been on talking about this long enough. What would you guys like for next week? I was thinking maybe either a live stream about the best movies that came out in the summer so far, or maybe a live stream about most anticipated horror in the fall. You guys let me know in the comments what you think would be very interesting, because I'm definitely going to be doing something for this movie. I'm going to watch it as soon as it's available, and I'm going to do the review on it. There's a couple other movies that came out in the last 2 weeks I want to try to catch up on. I won't say which because it depends on what I have access to. Because at this point I only have Netflix, Tubi, and Amazon Prime. Oh no, I have Shudder too. I have Shudder, and I am looking forward to is it called The Demon Disorder? The Demon Disorder. I'm looking forward to that one, and also Beetlejuice. I'm looking forward to Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice. Fominky Latte says, now I'm scared that accent. Yeah, if they have her up there doing some type of weird quote unquote black accent, I'm not for that. No. Let me take this off the screen. I'm not for that. I already don't trust Lee Daniels because the last time I saw a Lee Daniels movie, it was Precious, and I cried for 40 minutes straight, and I've never watched anything he's made since because I don't want to cry for 40 minutes. So I already don't trust him. So this, I mean, it could be amazing or it could be horrible. I don't think there's going to be an in-between. Tony Man says it's going to be awesome. You think the movie is going to be awesome? I hope you're right. I really do. Upcoming horror trailers for fall. Yeah, that would be fun. And also, you also have something on your laptop. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I do have another app on my laptop I can watch movies on. Totally forgot about that one. Because that one was brand new. I didn't know about. Am I allowed to say it, or is it kayfabe? I have no idea whether it's a kayfabe or whether it's like legit. But anyways, I have it. I'm gonna use it. But with that, I thank everybody for coming back. If you don't stop with 7 churches, talking about 7 churches is awesome. I will. You know what? I am gonna start doing more Tubi movies though, because like Tubi is on it. And I don't mean just like Tubi original movies. I'm talking about like movies that people are placing on Tubi that aren't necessarily Tubi original movies, but they're far worse than Tubi original movies. And I have to start talking to somebody about those. But with that, I'm gonna say goodnight because I'm really, really hungry. And I probably gotta burn some sulfur in my room before I go to bed because of all the shenanigans. I thank y'all again for coming through because I know it's been a hella long time since I have done a live stream. I'm trying to make these a more frequent occurrence. So the thing that happens to me is I have a hard time coming up with ideas for live streams because I don't want them to be boring. I want people to be engaged and I want them to feel fresh. So that's part of the reason why I've been reluctant. And also because with me, I always have technical issues. No matter what, it's like technical issues are my middle name. I set everything up for this stream like in maybe 2 hours before the stream. I get on like 2 minutes before the stream and I have to reset up everything all over again because nothing is working and I had to restart my computer. So that's like my life. So anyways, thank you again. I will see you next week. Have a good night.
Turn that down and turn it down.